And whether you're working to forgive a family member, a friend, or if you're a Nats fan, maybe Bryce, today's the day to just try and do it. And while it might be hard to take the first steps on the path to reconciliation, this morning, speaker, best-selling author, life strategist Michael McGill Jr. joins us in the loft with some tips on how we can start making those amends. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I'm overcoming. I'm rising strong. I'm learning how to forgive.
I expect nothing but that from you.
Thank you.
What are the first steps when it comes to the forgiveness and the reconciliation? Actually, first of all, are they the same thing?
You know, that is a good point. They are not the same thing. Forgiveness and reconciliation, they are not synonymous. I think people often assume that because I forgive you means that I'm required to reconcile with you. And the reality is that some people's behavior is just bad and toxic. And when toxicity is in your life, you have a choice to say, you know what, it ends today. Now, forgiveness heals the soul, but reconciliation, maybe you can, maybe you can't.
So what might it be then, or what might the factors be where I feel like I'll be better if I reconcile versus I'm gonna let this, I'll forgive you, but I'm gonna let this go.
Right. So understand this. Forgiveness first in terms of definitions. Forgiveness, my definition of forgiveness is being able to emotionally detach yourself from the pain, the plight, the person, or the experience. Being able to release yourself emotionally. So understand that forgiveness is always necessary. And anytime you've been pained, you've been wrong, the body bears the pain, the mind bears it, the body bears the burden. So forgiveness is important. But with reconciliation, if you are able to have a conversation, if the person is able to receive what you have to say and validate your experience, more often than not, reconciliation can begin. But what I know to be true is often we believe that because we do not speak our pain, that it'll go away. And the reality is that you cannot heal what you don't deal with and confess.
Let me ask you this then. If I feel that you have done me wrong in the past, I want to reconcile with you. I already have the negative energy because I feel like you have wronged me. So I'm not going to expect you're going to be a willing participant in this reconciliation. How do I go about this?
Well, this is what I know. When people have wronged you, the first thing in order to offer you got to offer people some compassion. If you really want the relationship to heal, if it needs to be recreated, if it needs to be restored, whatever, you've got to be able to offer people a layer of compassion. And compassion comes when you understand and you ask yourself the question, what lessons did I gain from this experience? Before you even have that conversation with somebody, if you really want your soul to be open up to them, you have to come to a place where you say, what lessons have I learned from this experience? What was this experience designed to teach me and to bring to my consciousness and to bring to my awareness? Perhaps the more you are aware of the lessons you are to learn and evaluate the tools you got from the experience, then maybe you're more inclined to offer compassion, offer awareness, and then offer forgiveness.
Another word that gets thrown into the mix a lot is the word closure. Now, if I attempt this reconciliation with you, even if it doesn't work, can I still find closure in the fact that I went through this process, or at least tried to go through this process?
That is such a good question. You do not need people's permission to heal. You don't need their validation to overcome. You don't need their validation to rise strong. You need their validation to reconcile or to make amends or to, as I say, recreate a relationship. But sometimes, situations are dead. When winter is over, the season is dead, you move on to a new season.
There's some people, Michael, that we talked about it this morning, and there are various degrees of where everybody stands on every issue that's important.
This is a journey. This is definitely a journey.
Some people, though, are like, you know what? I'm okay holding that grudge because it just makes me remember what happened to me in the past. Healthy or not?
It's not healthy. The research suggests so much about forgiveness. Like I said before, the body bears the burden. What we know is when you hold a grudge, again, you may think you are burying it, but it shows up in other areas of your life. Just say feelings. Say feelings. Say feelings. Feelings buried alive. Thank you, y'all. They don't die. They show up in other areas of your life. And so if you're not aware of what it's doing, it suppresses the immune system. It deals with the GI tract. Forgiveness, it sits in the body and it's toxic.
But and Holly brought this point up earlier, we still want to learn from what we have dealt with in the past. So we may be able to forgive. We may not hold that grudge, but we don't want to make the same mistake again.
Right. And that's the thing about forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to stay in communication with people. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you don't have to set clear boundaries. Forgiveness doesn't even mean that you got to answer the phone when they call. Forgiveness says, I'm cutting the emotional umbilical cord because you are toxifying my life, and I no longer give you that power. But guess what? It ends today.
Are you okay with everybody in your life?
I'm working on it. And I'm also, one thing that I can also say, I'm also working on forgiving myself as well. You know, that's a big
very
piece that we
important.
forget, is that sometimes we don't feel like we measure up, but self-forgiveness is as equally as important
I
as
think
forgiving
a lot
other
of it
people.
starts there. Absolutely. Michael,
starts
always,
there. Yeah.
always a pleasure. Here's where you can follow him online. He has a great social media following. And as you can see, tons of positivity coming from him as well. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. Great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Go check out those cherry blossoms now.
I will. I'm going to do it today.
All right. Good to hear. Back over to you, Wisdom.
Hang on. Michael McGill. Michael McGill.
I'm standing with you, and
Seriously.
I have an open appointment.
I know, right? We have a long couch. We all might need some sessions after that.
Meanwhile, I forgive you, Bryce Harper, for taking all that money and going to Philly. I'm cutting the cord. I'm putting some distance. I'm putting 190 miles between me and you. I'm never talking to you again, Bryce Harper. It's all good.